Welcome back to Tambay TV. I'm your host, Pael Fajardo. With me, the boys, Ali,
What's up?
and all the way
What's
from the
up?
Bay, he not gay, Rovi, Wilson.
Here to pay my way.
Homie, don't swing that way. What's up, boys? How have you been, man?
Very good, man. Good to be back, Pael. It's been a long time. Rovi, it's always good, man. It's always good to. We have. When was the last time we spoke? We spoke, I think, over the phone in November, right? So yeah, things are good, man. It's good. It's good.
It's good. What time is it over there, Rovi?
It's about 10, 17,
Oh,
10
decent time,
p.m. So it's about 1 p.m. your time. And I appreciate, first of all, you guys working out around my schedule.
Of course.
Because if the tables were flipped, my best work is at 1 p.m. and your best work is at 10 p.m. So that might we flipped it. But
yeah.
let's
Flipped it, bro.
let's challenge ourselves. And I'm so happy to see both of you guys, man. I missed you guys, and I'm
do.
sorry to get red. I'm so sorry.
You didn't get the memo. I was gonna get there next, bro. It's Red Day. We celebrating.
Damn.
We celebrating blood. We celebrating fucking R-rated superhero motherfucking movies, bro. That's what we're celebrating here, man. And just like Batman, it fucking took a while to unite this whole thing together, bro. Get you all the way from the States just to represent. You gotta represent.
What? I can't see what your logo is. Can you stand
No.
up? I can't see.
Mine's just a Voltus 5 shirt.
Oh, okay.
I used up my super. I was supposed to wear Superman. Fuck it, I'll look for my other Superman shirt. You take on the show. I'll do a quick change. Talk, Krovi. Tell me how it is there in the Bay. I'm gonna get my Superman shirt.
As long as we don't see your nipples, we're fine. Ali, show us the top half of your or the rest of
Right
that.
here. The Flash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut into it already because I don't want to steal the thunder from Pael, but I just want to. I got a Ray Parker story though. I want to say it.
Ray Parker. Who is Ray? Wait, who's Ray Parker?
Fisher.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fisher.
Ray Fisher.
Did I not
Fisher.
train you for this already, bro?
Who is this? Who?
I trained. We had this, bro. Represent.
Okay.
Didn't I just fucking?
I'll be cyborg.
Oh, okay, there you go. Ray Parker cyborg? Did you mean Ray Parker cyborg?
Ray Fisher, yeah. No.
Tell the story.
Anyway,
tell the story.
Welcome back, guys.
The story.
Thanks for having us.
Your Ray Fisher story.
Oh, finish it? Okay, my bad.
Jump into it. This was circa 2016, 17 Asia Pop Comic Con, just to give you guys the background.
All right. Asia Pop Comic Con. I'm in the back tent. I just finished taking pictures with the cast of Netflix's Stranger Things Season 2 cast. Thank you. The reason I was there is because I was hosting their press con. And, it was a big tent. And after taking pictures with them, I looked around. I was like, who else? I wonder who else that, the Comic Con brought. And I looked around and I see some dude in a red shirt. His back was turned to us, but he was going crazy at the grazing table, the craft services. And I was like, who's? And my PA was like, oh, that's Cyborg. And I go, holy shit, Cyborg's here too? I would love to, take a picture with him and meet him and welcome him to Manila. And she was like, okay, I can go, I can go tap him. And she was like, I was like, no, I don't like to bother celebrities when they're eating, and he must have overheard or he overheard us or something, or he could feel our eyeballs looking at his back. But he turns around, he wipes his mouth, and he was like, what's up, good? Want to take a picture? Let's go. And we were like, oh yeah, dude, he was hell. And so we took a picture with him, and said what's up. And I had a camera to be the one to take the picture, a selfie from his point of view. And after we said our goodbyes, I checked out the pictures. I was so excited to check it out, dude. He took 2 pictures. Both were blurry as fuck.
Oh.
What? Cyborg cannot take pictures.
Shit. Oh man.
It's that EMP in his head, bro. He's got like a self-defending EMP blast that goes around Cyborg. That's why you can never track him down. You can never take fucking pictures, even with him in his
Roby, was he a pretty big guy?
I didn't notice he was wide. I didn't notice if he was tall or not, but he was
I
wide.
think he's around 6'2".
Wow.
Let me check. I think he's 6'2".
You know, he was in the TV series with it's called True Detective with Mahershala.
Yeah.
Mahershala. Yeah, he played Mahershala's son. And you know, because we had like Justice League came out in 2017, so it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to finally get over to watching True Detective, which is one of my favorite, series, especially the first one. The first one was awesome.
The first one was
Woody Harrelson. Yeah. And I was like, man, why does this guy sound and look so familiar? And then, like, I started putting two and two together as the episodes went on. I was like, shit, that's Cyborg. That's Cyborg. So,
wow. Yeah. He was young enough to play Mahershala's son? That's crazy.
Well, no, I mean, what they were doing was they were jumping certain timelines. So, like, they would go back to it, and they would, it'd be a young Mahershala as a detective, and then they would jump all the way to the present time where he's a senior, right? And he's suffering from mild dementia. It's starting to creep on, and his son is played by what's his name? Ray Fisher.
All of a sudden, you got conscious too.
Yeah,
but I remember that con.
I mean, and he's a good-looking dude. He's a good-looking dude, actually. You know,
dude, he's a fucking badass actor. Like,
he is. Yeah, you're right.
We were able to see his all his acting. Like, Joss Whedon gave him no love.
He got nothing, man.
He got cut.
I didn't care for Cyborg. Like, screw Cyborg. Now, dude, Cyborg is my favorite character.
Right? You're right. That's a great point. Yeah. Like now I'm like, no, that's awesome. That's awesome that you said that, Rogan, because what they did was, are we in the Snyder Cut now? Are we going into it now?
Yeah, we are in the Snyder Cut, bro.
You want to segue into it? What do you want to do?
My bad. Oh, sorry.
No. We are getting into the fucking. I was gonna fast forward. I was gonna end with the story of the Comic Con he was in, because Asia Pop, and we do well with our fucking. Wait, this is Cyborg, by the way.
Yes.
I put on his extra arms. That's new. There's a commission piece. I have fucking 4 orders. Thank you, Zack Snyder, motherfucker. I got 4 orders.
Wow. Isn't that awesome?
When the movie started, when it showed in the States, man, my phone was fucking off the hook with people calling just to find out if I made it, how I made it, wanted to know where to order. And some of them I gave them the price. They're like, fuck it, yeah, what's your PayPal? Quick as fuck. So thank you, Zach. Anyway, going back to the story of Ray Fisher. In this con, dude, no one knew him, right? Rovi, no one fucking knew him. He was just going around uninterrupted, bro, looking at the toy store, the stalls, checking out comics. I got to come up to him and I'm like, Vic Stone in the house! People were like, who's Vic Stone? And then he looked at me like, hey, man, what's up? Just like that, friendly, out there to represent, and then only to find out that once a movie gets released, you get reduced to fucking 10 minutes compared to the fucking almost hour that we got with him in this fucking show, right? That was amazing, bro. I loved it. Because you've known Cyborg from the comics too, right, Aldi? And
yes.
You know that he was very misrepresented with the fucking Justice League. Let's call it the Justice League, because it's the Joss Whedon cut of the movie, right? Him there to him here. How different was that? How vital was that, right?
Yeah. Well, for one, Rovi, you hit it right on the nail. Now, I kind of want to see his own movie. Like, we're never going to get that. You know
never
what?
Say never. He just has to shut up.
I don't want to go off road here, but
go all over the place.
No, I even thought Steppenwolf was pretty interesting.
Right? Yeah.
He was so much better here than he was. I'm like, what the hell is this in the Justice League in 2017? But they went in more depth with all the characters, so you had an understanding of where these guys came from, and you had more of an appreciation of them. I told you about, we talked on the phone about how his father was talking to him. And I kind of got emotional, I guess, because, you know, I'm a dad.
Father twice
And
over.
like, father, and I can only imagine, like, you know, he obviously doesn't want to talk to him, but he left that recording for him to listen. He said the hardest part is you saying yes and you saying no. I mean, that's not exactly what he was, but you know what I'm like, being using his powers for good or using your powers for bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trick is
And then the
one
one that really touched me was, and then again, it's the essence of his character, knowing that he truly is a good guy, right? Which made him even more interesting. You can even argue that he kind of stole the show. Like when he went to that single mom's bank account and he just went like this, he went,
yeah.
Oh my God! Like I almost I got kind of teary eyed. I was like,
you know me.
I was looking around. I was making sure my kids didn't see me cry, you know. But I was like, damn! Oh my gosh! I mean, where was this? Where was this? Why didn't we get this? You know.
Yep.
For the obvious reasons. So yeah.
That was like go, Rovi.
Yeah. I just have to fully support what Ali said, if you don't mind, because I mean, we need to really just break down how much he deserves. And it's so unfair that he wound up on the cutting room floor, and now, you know, he's vindicated, you know, his career. And like I said, going back to how of an amazing actor he is, I think the greatest revenge, because everyone thinks he's committed career suicide by calling out the, you know, all the atrocities that are going on.
Yeah.
But
for me,
I just hope revenge is, because I swear to you, he's the next Denzel Washington. He's so good.
Really? That's
he's so an actor. He is like, he hit the ranges, and he could be action. He'll be like a more badass Denzel. And his greatest comeback to the DC universe and the people who wrote him off was, you know, he wins an Oscar. And I really see that in his trajectory. He's that good.
Yeah.
He's that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I saw his range in True Detective. You know.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, who is he? I was like, who is it? Like, because the thing was, I didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize him.
Did he Mahershala? Sorry, did he outshine Mahershala, or that's two heavyweights? What do you think?
No, I mean, at this point, Mahershala was already a one-time Academy Award winner. I don't think he had won his second yet, not yet, with Green Book. And I saw Green Book, and you know, it's hard. Okay, just real quickly, it's very difficult for me to see Mahershala as an actor because I knew him as a teammate. All right. You got to understand. I'm a bit traumatized because I was the 17-year-old kid.
I love this story.
I was the kid that didn't sound like all the other black students. All right. I came from a white neighborhood. So if you could, and even worse, I took myself way too seriously. And I took everything personal. Everything was a challenge to me, and they loved it, man. They thrived on it. And Mahershala was like one of the spearheads, man. And he let me have it. He let me have it. But at the same time, we built a brotherhood that, you know, to this day, it's still there. You know, I was able to speak to one of our teammates. Unfortunately, they found he had brain surgery about this time last year, recovered from that because they removed a tiny tumor from the top of his brain. Okay, and he's so strong. This is our teammate, and we were supposed to get together like this with a lot of our other teammates that were in the same batch, Mahershala included. So we were all excited. I was looking forward to it. Then all of a sudden, it never materialized. And I was wondering what happened. And then another one of our teammates, Reggie, said, I don't know if you know, man, but they found 3 more tumors in AJ's lungs this time after having brain surgery, right?
Oh, so, man.
But what I'm trying to say here is that being able to speak to these guys after, 20-something years, it's as if we picked up where we left off. We never, like, I spoke to these guys for 2 hours straight as if I saw them yesterday, right? So that's the bond that we're always going to have. But it's just hard for me. What I'm trying to say, it was just very hard for me to see him as an actor. right?
Okay.
And you know what I'm gonna do? And you guys are laughing right now. I'm gonna stretch this fucking thing out.
No,
man.
you are not gonna stretch this thing out. We were
Let's
patient.
talk. Let's talk about Green. Let's talk about Green Book. Let's talk about the Viggo Mortensen. Was the book really green? Let's talk about that.
I was gonna
Green
say,
eggs.
Let's talk about racism in the
I was
60s.
gonna segue into like 2 hours of your talking and 2 hours of
Let's
Justice League.
look up what segue really means. Let's look up in the dictionary. Segue.
Rovi was quiet. You gotta give it a Rovi. He was fucking quiet.
No,
He
but,
was not
but here, but, but,
tripping
but,
you
no,
up.
man. But no,
He
no,
was
no.
just-
You know,
when I
let me
started
just
smiling, he started
I'll answer
smiling.
the damn
It
question.
just happened.
I'll answer the damn question. No, he did no, he did not outshine Mahershala, but because I did not know who he was, I couldn't recognize him, remember him. I was like, who is this guy? There. All right. I was like, who is this guy? This guy's pretty good. I like him. You know,
He was good.
And after what? How long was that? 15 minutes?
Yeah. My favorite fucking cyborg moment was when he was the whole origin of it, and I love how they gave the fuck. It was morbid as fuck. He was hanging, right on the. Sorry, I had to flex it real quick. He was hanging by the mother, and then he was being electrocuted and all that shit. That was hardcore. That was shit you wouldn't get if this shit were PG. You know what I mean? You know, and then you see the cyborg, the fucking mother box marrying into him, and like, what the fuck? That was some amazing, brutal Zack Snyder shit, right?
Yeah.
Remember
300, style came
exactly.
into play.
This is the guy who brought us 300, and which brings me to a good question I've been asking myself: Does the Snyder cut? Let's call it the Snyder cut. Does the Snyder cut beat 300? Oh, I've decided. We'll think about that. Ali, has the Snyder cut beat 300? Because I don't think 300 has another cut.
I think it's kind of too early to see that yet, because I really haven't gotten a chance to see what the reaction is.
No, you. I'm asking you. For you. In terms of achievement in directing and the way he... Snyder as an artist, do you think he has surpassed 300? Because you have to remember, this was a retroactive movie that he shot back in fucking 2016, 15, 16, that only gets released 5 years later, so it's had time to marinate and shit. Do you think it's kicked 300's ass by now? Too hard? Is the question too hard?
I think it can kick. I tell you what. I think it can kick the Avengers' ass of the first three movies. Endgame, no, but the first three. The first Avengers, second, third. I think it can definitely get with them. You know.
Yeah.
And here's what's unfortunate about it. We're never going to see anything like that ever again, because the people at Warner Brothers just, they've got their heads so far up their ass about it.
I read about that. What's her name again? She wrote about
Exactly. As in, who gives a shit, right?
Rovi, how about you? Does it surpass 300?
Well, you know what? 300 though, when it came out, that just blew us away. That was one of those. We haven't seen graphics like that, a storyline like that, the aesthetic like that. We haven't seen abs in movies like hard. Everybody had abs, like the women had abs, and in most movies leading up to it, only the leading actor had abs. Everyone else was not ripped, So that sense of it, it just was. It did so much it did so much more for Zack Snyder's career than Justice League, but Justice League cements Zack Snyder's career as just an artist.
I like that.
Visuals. He's a storyteller. So
I'll just add one thing. I mean, when I saw 300, it was groundbreaking. It made me want to go to the gym the very next day and work on my abs, like that type of shit. Like I wanted to be up 300, to the point that I was like, was this a true story? And I love to do research, so here I go. I'm on online looking up, you know, Sparta and King Leonidas and all that stuff. The Persian, you know, all the Xerxes, all those guys. I'm just reading about them, and I for like the next few months, I was obsessed with them. You know, I could never get tired of watching the very first battle scene. Right, that very first battle scene where you know they.
Was it the hot gates?
And then it'll always be cemented in my mind, because when I went to go see it in the movie theater, I went to go see it with my girlfriend at the time and her gay friend, and they were both like, they completely lost themselves. They were like hot and bothered, right? and like, you know, I mean, they were just like, I could, like, if I didn't know any better, they were having orgasms. So, you know, yeah. So it of course that added to the motivation of going to
working
the gym, working on my abs. Yeah.
Work on your fucking abs, bro.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question, bro. Who would make a better Xerxes for Halloween? Ali or me?
I think, first of all, I think Ali would die before he goes to Xerxes. I'm pretty sure he'd fucking hate that shit.
No,
you would rock it. I think you would rock it just because.
I think Rovi. I think you would. You know what? Here's the thing. Here's this. If this COVID shit goes away and we're able to go to Halloween parties, let's make a pact. You go as Xerxes, and I will go as Cyborg.
How the fuck do you go as Cyborg? You have to make the whole suit.
Actually, it's gonna look stupid. Never mind. It's gonna look.
I thought you were gonna say I'll go as Leonidas.
You could be Xerxes. I'm not saying you could be Xerxes. I'll just have to figure out. I'll be the Black Green Lantern.
No, be Leonidas. I want you to be Leonidas.
No, I'll be Dark Side.
He's freezing his ass in his briefs. You're gonna freeze your ass in your fucking Spartan skirt and like shield. That would be like a.
No, why don't we all three be Xerxes? We're a traveling band of Xerxes. You know, 3 versions of it. That would be way more fun. We would have way more fun as 3 Xerxes than one Xerxes and whatever the fuck you're gonna be, Pael.
I'm always Iron Man ever since I've fucking done that. Or maybe the bat flex.
More like Iron Man.
Because I was thinking that the whole week. I'm like, but after we watched, because I've seen it 3 times, 3.5 actually. The half is like just porn style fast forwarding just to the cyborg parts, because I really wanted to get his arms right. Because I've sold like a couple of these before, but these arms are new, so they're all detachable. So I had to pause and check, and you know that's articulated and shit. So connected to his back. This is the scene where he's like, Superman, and the Superman goes. Arr! So I added that. So anyway, so I've seen it 3.5 times. After we watched the 3rd time, we watched 300. And you could tell the effects are a bit. It's just a bit dated compared to the cleanliness of this one and how dramatic the music kicks in. It's so different. Him performing his movie, let's call it performing his movie with Junkie XL sounds and fucking Hans Zimmer, because the music for this is both Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. Those are his boys now. With them as like a bass line for the scenes, it's just fucking perfect, bro. That Wonder Woman scene in the start, didn't that just like fucking blow your mind? It was so different from just when she goes. Remember that part? The guy pulls out his fucking machine gun and she goes. I'm like, whoa! Just for that, I'm giving this movie a fucking 10 in my head. You know what a way to fucking start, bro.
Oh god, yeah.
Completely different from the first start. The first start, I'm like, what the hell are those little freaking, you know, what are those things? Like the Mothman prophecy type. Remember in the Justice League that came out in 2017? Remember that? The very first scene. I think it was the very first scene, wasn't it? Where the
parademons.
Yeah. It it was such a convoluted story, the Justice League in 2017. I was telling Pael this a couple days ago when we chatted. I said, bro, the Justice League, this is the first time I actually fully understood a story from beginning to end. Every single character, their backstory, their purpose. I was actually rooting for the bad guy, you know, not rooting for him, but at least he had a goal and a purpose. You know, he wasn't just some bad guy. You know, he was trying to get back into the dark side's good graces, you know, and so he had a story you kind of fell for, and it was just wonderful. So is it fair to ask you guys to pick your most, I'll copy this from one of my favorite podcasts. It's called the Rewatchables, and they have one category they call most rewatchable scene. So what is your one most rewatchable scene and why?
Ali, you want to take it?
All three of us. Yeah, I'll start since I said it.
Go.
Give you enough time to.
No,
me,
go.
bro,
You go first.
Is Flash, when they're introducing him, he's going to the dog store to apply for a job, and he's so neurotic there and whatever, and then he turns around and sees that girl driving off, which again, I don't follow the comics, but that winds up being his love interest. So they're staring at each other, and then that's when the truck is about to hit, and it's just you've seen it in Hollywood a million times, but just the way he did it, the intersection and the intersecting and the editing and the fucking close up of the kernel, the sesame seed bun falling down, and then when he spots it, the Flash just comes out and does his thing, but it's not generic Flash. It's this new Flash
everything's
his criticism is poetry. And that's what I love about it. He's just poetry in motion, and he sees the girl and he closes her hands, and then the music comes up.
We're not. You forgot to mention the hot dog, bro. There was a hot dog. That was such a subtle little gay thing because you know that he's according to rovi, he's androgynous, right? So you know how he picks the hot dog. He doesn't eat it because he's not cheap that way. He just fucking puts it in his pocket because he's a decent silent gay dude. I don't know. That's what I saw in that scene. But yeah, he puts his arms together.
That's interesting that you said that, Pael, because
right?
No. In a respectful way. In a respectful way. It did cross my mind because we all know that there's a lot of subliminals.
Wasn't that one? Wasn't that a big scene? I told you, Roby. It's not just me.
No. Look. It could be. It may or may not be. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. But I was like, because this is what we look for. That's not exactly. I mean, not exactly what we look for. But I'm saying because we are all very big fans of these superhero movies, we look for these hidden clues or whatever, these hidden messages. All right, so yeah.
What did you say?
What? Huh?
They call them Easter eggs. They call them
eggs.
Easter eggs. Yeah, Easter eggs. Yeah.
But this one is a very subtle gay Easter egg.
You know what? I mean,
that's cheap. So I'll put it in my pocket.
You know what? That might be a testament to how progressive Zack Snyder is as a director. Like, he wanted to pay props to Ezra, the actor, I forgot his last name, and say, hey, man, I know you're androgynous, so I support you, but I can't support you, this is how I'm going to support you in my art, and I'm going to show that scene where you actually did shoot the hot dog before the hot girl, but we'll make it something. And hot dog goes to the dogs. You got the job, boom, whatever. Great writing. So yeah, that's my fucking favorite scene, dude. How about you guys?
No, I love how just going back there. I love how he folds her hands gently. Yeah, and then lays in one swift motion, and then the fucking car goes, and then the explosion cuts the music, boom, and then all of a sudden it's all real again. I'm like, what? The fuck? And
we would never have saw that if it weren't for the Snyder cut. That would have been left on the floor. And my favorite scene we in the whole damn movie never was in the original. That's insane, man.
Same here.
That's it. It just
I-
shows you.
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
Joss Whedon.
No, okay. For the record, let's be fair. If any of us were Joss Whedon, we probably would have done something similar because you're given the Herculean task of changing. It's mandated by your boss. You know, let's say Ali's finished the movie. People want to change it. Rovi, you change his shit. You know what I mean? It's your job to do something different. It's your job to change the tone. So I don't put the blame on him for the choices that he's made. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because it's not. You still hate it. Look at Roby's face. No, Joss Whedon can suck dick. That's still in your face.
You know what he should have done is like let his ego aside and contact Zack and say, "Hey, I know you're in a bad place right now, and I know you're taking care of this tragedy, but work with me a little bit. Give me some notes. Where do you want the film's
No. See,
to go?"
it's the reverse. What happened was the reverse. During the shooting, they got Joss already. It was one of the. So imagine Zack was making his film, doing his thing. They got Joss in to fucking butt in, bro. They put him to he was the one editing Zack. It wasn't the other way around. So he was tasked to change Zack's vision. So even during the mid production, they put him in. So it was that intrusive. You know what I mean? So it wasn't his fault. I don't want to put it on him.
Sounds like Star Wars. Sounds like
Solo.
Sounds like it sounds like what's her name again? Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. Them fucking.
I mean, she even didn't she get pissed off when found out that Luke Skywalker was going to be in the last episode of the
season finale
of Mandalorian?
She didn't know. She was pissed after the fact because she didn't know. She already fucked up Luke Skywalker, and now all of a sudden they're bringing him back as a hero. Anyway, going back to your question, Roby. So many favorite scenes, but the scene that really got me into it was this very start. You right? The very start. Because you remember how the other one started with Batman and this whole stupid song and dudes kicking crates in the Justice League. This one starts with a close-up of a fucking spear, right? The kryptonite spear. And then what the... Oh, wow. This is where we're starting. And then we get a close-up of Superman. I'll do the... And then he's screaming, "Ah! Ah!" I'm like, oh my God. He just fucking amplified that scene, showing you that the fucking whole planet heard his scream, one. And two, this is the strongest man on the planet fucking dying. So that struck me. I'm like, whoa. Because it gets into the fucking Amazons. It goes to Atlantis. It goes to... And just with that fucking, 2-minute scream, you realize that the world just got fucking open for attack. You know what I mean? You just lost your most powerful hero. You're fucked. So that's one of my favorite scenes. Just with the opening, and you can see you know what I'm talking about? It's like, it was a sonic boom. It was a verbal sonic boom that was heard not just on top of Earth, even in fucking as deep as Atlantis, man. You're like, you guys are fucked now. You guys are fucked now. Ali, favorite scene?
Well, I think it would be Cyborg's. I mean, you're asking me which scene I kept watching over and over again. It was that. Maybe it's because it reminded me of the son and father and son relationship. It also just, I sort of looked into the future, 20 years from now, my son being a grown man, and how painful that would be to see him in the hospital light up like that, And but then the way his father gave that advice to him, saying, this is what you have. This is what would be difficult to other people, impossible for other people, would be possible for you at the drop of that's all you have to do, right? And then just again, it just goes back to that part right there. I don't know what it was, but he just,
And
that part.
At that point, you didn't know what was going on. You're like, why are we looking at this single mom? That's not his mom's. He saw his mom.
But I mean, but like the thing is, just imagine if we had that capability, if we had that type of, like, one of us had
Wouldn't
that type
you?
of power,
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable, right? But I love the whole movie. I can watch the whole movie over and over again. I just don't have time to do it, man. It's 4 hours. I got three kids, you know. But
Sorry, bro. Going back. You're a father.
Yeah.
You got Dwayne, right? You got the big D. Here's my question. If you were Silas, the father, and that did happen to Big D, would you marry him with a mother box and at the chance of being a father twice over, as the movie says, right? I'm a father twice over. I brought you back into life, and I brought you back into life. Would you make the same choice as fucking? This goes for you too, Rovi, if you wanna chime in.
He just lost his wife too.
That's true.
He lost his wife too. So you would imagine the desperation and knowing that you had the technology to bring him back.
But you're bringing him back to someone different.
Maybe different, but I probably would, man, because it's like you have to be a dad to understand.
I know, that's why I asked you.
Yeah, you would die. You would sacrifice everything that you have to make sure. You know, forget about me. It's about you. You have so much of your life to live. You know, it's to that. It's to that. Like
even,
I never thought
even if you know he's gonna be different, even if you know it's not gonna be the same life he would have had as a football player.
If he had the chance to make an impact in the world and save people's lives, you know, yeah, hell fucking yeah, I would. Hell, and now the other things, the other ones, and this may seem a little odd to you guys, I guess they were the post-credit scenes. I kept watching that over and over again to the point that you told me to go buy Injustice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold on, what in the hell is all this, man? And you know, that conversation between Joker and Batman, you know, into the future. I mean, just imagine that type of turmoil. Like Batman has to deal with this guy.
Wait,
have
you been reading
Injustice? It's like Fraser and Ali, man. Like you can't, you know, it's like Magic and Bird. You're always going to be put in the same sentence together. You know, like imagine that. Just imagine that. And he had to deal with that. He has to deal with all of that. But yeah, those are the two. Those are the two. I just kept watching over and over. Yeah.
Just a little bit on Injustice. How are you enjoying it? Are you reading the comic book right now?
I'm enjoying it. And I'm in the beginning of it, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Obviously, there's characters that are not in that are not in the post-credit scene from what I've seen. But
did you get to the Lois card part?
So interesting, huh?
Is Lois still alive? Where you're at in the reading? Have you reached that part?
I think she still is. Yeah, I think she is.
You have to read it then. I won't spoil anything.
Yeah,
that's where they're going with it. Just going back on the father and son thing. Rovi, you had this fucking awesome take on how that reflects fucking Snyder and the Autumn relationship. That almost made me cry. Say it, bro. What was your take on that?
Absolutely. We all know the reason he was, you know, he extricated from this film is because of the tragedy of his daughter. She committed suicide. So that was the reason he got pulled out of the film. But it was also her suicide that pulled him back into it, because in her honor, he wanted to finish it with his vision. And that's why you see a lot of the stories, especially the two strongest arcs, which is Ezra, Flash, and Cyborg, they dealt with fathers. And it was the fathers saying, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. You know, I apologize. I'll make it up to you. You know, you can be a better person without me. And it just makes the movie 10,000 times more and better. And I'm not even a father, you know. So I can only imagine the other fathers. And especially, well, I had a friend who died by suicide, one of my three that passed a week. And that just made me reflect on just suicide in general. And I just love, again, this director for being not just human, but showing, you know, empathy for what's going on in the world. He's through his art, he's saying we need to work together if we want to beat this thing which, you know, whatever, it could be COVID right now, it could be racism, whatever. We just, as Atlanteans, as, you know, Middle Earth people, as whatever, we need to work together. So for us, I love how he's also saying that we need to work together as humans if we beat, you know, especially COVID. COVID, we need to work together with this.
Yeah.
So, and racism, of course. So props to Snyder, man.
So it's also the timing of it, right? The timing of the release is also relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if this would have made the same impact 4 years ago, 2017.
You're right.
You know what I
You're
mean?
right.
Because everyone would have been. We wouldn't be
Well,
as divided.
Yeah, and number one, no one is paying to see a 4-hour movie.
That's
So
another
that's why
thing. That's another thing. But
Yeah.
Ali, we talked about this. You said that Endgame was 3 hours plus.
3 hours. Yeah.
That's still rock. So there may be a world.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I would have seen it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, but the thing was, I think so many people wanted to see a better version of Justice League. That added to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if this movie came out in 2017, I think you're right, Kyle. I think that it would have been a great movie. Some people would have been like, man, I really liked it. Some people would be like, oh, it's too long, you know, and it would have been compared to the MCU movies and whatnot. It could have, you know, and I think it was good. It was if it was to come out back then, it would have been good enough to start off other storylines, right?
Right, it would have been. It
definitely would have done that. You know, but it's perfect right now. Rovi is right about that because it was a perfect time for this movie to come out because of what's been going on in the world. Absolutely, I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Especially now with this Asian hate, motherfucker.
Yeah. And how was my time? Good, right?
That's perfect. That was perfect. That was spot on.
I'm on.
You were so good in that last take. You get 5 more minutes extended.
That's what I want to hear.
Fucking awesome. How about let's talk about the fucking Amazons, bro.
Okay.
The Amazons, this versus the Joss version. Do you guys still remember the fucking, what do you call it? Let's call it a temple. The temple never fell in the Joss version, right? I haven't really.
No.
It didn't, right? Because now this one, it falls down. Then you think it's not done because there's still that whole fucking chase scene, that horse chase scene, right? Then it fucking from out of the water, the parademons just fly up, boom, boom, and then he's jumping like, God damn, Zach, that was like I would compare it to you remember how long songs would get cut for the radio? There's like a radio cut of a song, and then there's like a longer version of a song.
Yeah.
The one with the solos and shit. That's what this felt like. It was like, oh, he gave me the solo. He gave me that fucking everything. That 7-minute long opus of a song that you were just, damn, that's different. I love that part. Because they were all hot too. And there were, I'm not calling out Joss for being racist or anything, but there were more black Amazons in this one. Did you notice that?
That's right.
Right? Even in the start, the one that was going near that wasn't in the cut. She was hot as shit wearing her helmet, going like this to the box. I definitely have seen it so many times that I know where we're going.
You know this, but why did they bring him in there to purposely sabotage?
Because let's face it, bro, BVS didn't do well. I mean, it did well. It got like 600 million. They were, in their minds, it would have been easy 1 billion hit, right? But even me, BVS is. I love the action scenes, but the stories plus Amy Adams, I can't really take her or fucking Lex Luthor in that movie. You know what I mean? So people were scared, but they have no choice. Zack's already started this fucking journey of creating the Justice League, so they had to put Joss in there. So, but
wait, BVS was directed by Zack Snyder also?
Yeah. Here's the story is after, remember Nolan's trilogy? Once Nolan finished with his contract, he wanted to do other shit, like he was doing Interstellar after that. He was handing the reins to Zack Snyder. So that's why he's an
Right.
executive producer on all his films. Zack
As he
Snyder
should
was
be.
to be the Kevin Feige of it all. So he started with Man of Steel. This is actually his trilogy: Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Justice League. But
As
as a trilogy, that's his original
as a director.
as a director. So,
Got it.
but he's planned as far as Justice League 2 and 3. That's what he says. That's
And
why.
was there any handcuffs on him when he started this project, though?
No, apparently not. Remember, this is one movie. He shot 4 or he says he's got a 10-hour cut. I read that.
Wow.
So he
No,
shot so
no, I'm talking
much.
about Man of Steel. I'm talking about Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman. Did he have
No.
any restraints? No.
He didn't have restraints for Man of Steel because that did okay. BVS, no restraints also, but then he only got restraints for Justice League because this is the only time.
Okay.
No, sorry.
I didn't-
There's a 3-hour cut of BVS, which is really not much better. It's more you get a naked Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot's legs on a bed. Those are the only striking scenes for me in that 3-hour cut. Because that was pretty long. Have you seen the 3-hour cut of BVS?
No.
There's a 3-hour cut of it. An extended scene in the desert and fucking Ben Affleck taking a bath. I don't know why that was like.
I didn't like Man of Steel. I didn't like Rovi. Did you like Man of Steel? I didn't like Man of Steel. I didn't like it. I was disappointed.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like watching Independence Day.
That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Do you remember Man of Steel, Roby?
I don't even remember it. But I don't remember hating it. You know, I just remember not hating it. And I'll always give DC movies, from a storyline and acting perspective, a lot more clout and brevity,
Really?
and because I love DC's characters because they're so, they're flawed, and I think they cast better actors that are into acting rather than like, I'm buff and I'm Thor and whatever, I mean, my favorite quote, and I'm quoting myself, is Marvel make money, but DC wins awards. So, first superhero movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture, right? And but Marvel films, they obviously make more money. But
Did Black
for
Panther
me,
win something? Did Black Panther win something? Ali, do you remember?
I don't remember. We could look it up. Let's look it up right now.
maybe awards, but not. It got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, but DC's been there already, you know.
Yeah, I just like DC stories. I mean, for me, the greatest superhero, the greatest superhero trilogy is Dark Knight, and that whole thing that they did. It just elevated superhero movies for me.
Yep.
Thousand.
You're talking about Christian Bale's.
Yeah.
Hey, and I was telling Bael this. I was so excited to see Batman with Michael Keaton back in 1988, 1989. I was so excited. 1989. I walk in there and I'm watching this shit, and I'm like, first of all, I hate sets. Okay, if you're gonna film a movie on a set, at least make it look like they were on a set.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
But wasn't it still a fucking awesome, amazing looking set?
The
you
what?
Know what I mean? It was a good looking
I didn't
set.
Michael Keaton, okay, as Batman, okay. But back then, Michael Keaton was a comedian. He was in comedic movies. He was doing stand-up. He was a comedian. I believe he was a comedian by that was his base.
Yeah.
So I could understand why he was cast as Batman. And anyway, it was just so much better, so much more real than having to go through what was produced from 1989 all the way to 1997. The only movies I liked out of those when we were all younger was, if I had to choose, Val Kilmer's version of Batman. All the other ones, which
Me too.
turned me off, man. Turned me off. It was horrible.
Yeah.
What's your
Terrible.
take on the bat suit? Because Rovi was shitting on Ben Affleck's fucking gray and black suit, man.
That's classic though. That's
See?
classic. That's
See?
what's in the comic books, and I love that. I love that. You know, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you talk. I'll get something. I'll get my Batman real quick.
I didn't realize that it was a classic look. I thought it was a new look.
No, it was a classic look, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that either until I saw Ben Affleck's version, particularly in the warehouse scene. I thought that was one of the best fight sequences. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
See, this is Jim Lee's version of Batman.
Got it.
See,
Gray
the big
That's
bat.
that's tight, man. I love that outfit.
Yeah, this is what
it
it's based on.
looked foamy. It just looked foamy to me. That's why. I as opposed to Christian Bale, because it was more clad in like a bodysuit. It was rubber.
Motorcycle suit specifically also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looked more slicker and more like stealthy.
You know what I would love to see, because what I appreciated about Christian Bale's Batman, especially Batman Begins, was, for me, I was like, man, I just love this, because you get to see the training, how he became Batman, how he was able to take on 24 dudes in a, like, obviously that wasn't Christian Bale, but Batman, the character Batman, being able to be dropped off by Alfred, right? I'm going to BBS, right? And like, how scared would you be? Even for Batman, even if you were a superhero, you're getting dropped off, and there's almost 24 bad guys with automatic rifles and knives and stuff, and they're trained killers. You got to go in there. You got to take each and every one of them out.
See, I love that. I love that about BBS.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Ben Affleck go through that type of training up there in the mountains, right, with the League of Shadows.
No, but see, that's the thing, though. That's what. Again, I've seen so many interviews and shit. It was one of the things that Nolan told Snyder when he was handing over the reins was the key thing was do something different. That's why he says that's how he excuses himself. That's why his Batman kills. Remember, Nolan's Batman doesn't kill, but his Batman kills. His Batman is older, so you don't need to see the backstory anymore. This is a different. Yeah. It's a different take. This one's got gray and black.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I dug it. But I get it though. Don't get me wrong. The Dark Knight for me is. I was telling this to Roby also the other day. That is my favorite fucking movie of all time, I'd say. Up there with Return of the Jedi. The Dark Knight.
With Joker, right?
With Joker. Yeah. That was a...
Yeah.
That was a performance.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. And it transcends superhero movie. You don't even have to be a fan. You can watch that standalone.
Exactly.
But, so gentlemen, now that we brought up the Marvel and DC debate, would this be, is JL better than Endgame?
No, for me, no. It's not. But for Pael, I know it is.
Because I hate Endgame, bro. Of all the fucking Avengers movies, I hate that. I don't want to get into why I hate it so much, but in general, I would hold Civil War higher than Endgame. Infinity War the highest. So for me, it's equal to Infinity War. Maybe a little bit more because I get cussing and blood.
Which is very good. Which is very, very good. If you're going to grade the Snyder Cut. Absolutely. And that was what we've all been looking for. Because over the last some odd years, DC on the big screen has been getting their asses handed to them. With maybe the exception of Wonder Woman. The first one. That second one, I don't know what the fuck that was.
What the fuck? Did you even bother with that, Rovi?
No. I knew it was going to...
You know what that was like? That's like those stupid... Rovi, I don't know if you've done this, Pael, but Rovi and I, we know what this is. We're from the States. Those scavenger hunt type shit. That's what it was. It's like watching a goddamn scavenger hunt. What the hell is this? What's going on? Where are we going with this bullshit? What is this? What's his name? What's the guy's name? The guy who played Mandalorian. What's his name?
I can't remember right now.
But I know.
Pedro Pascal, I know, but his character Max Lord.
If you're gonna bring Pedro Pascal into this movie and introduce him into the DC universe, at least make them badass. Instead of, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of watching It reminded me of watching The Last Jedi and wondering after the movie, what the hell was Benicio del Toro ever doing in that movie? As a great of an actor he is, that's it? That's it? A guy that stutters? A criminal? A petty theft?
Benicio.
Right? That's it? It was horrible, man. One sec, I'll be right back.
Go.
Wait, popcorn, hold on.
How about you,
damn
Rovi? Where do you stand versus the Marvel movies? Well, first, what's the highest? Let's compare peak to peak, pun intended. Even though Ali's not there, what is the best Marvel movie, and does it compare to the Justice League that we got with the Snyder cut? For you, your rating.
Oh, the best Marvel movie.
Yeah, because that's pound for pound. Let's do pound for pound. Let's say that JL is the best that they've produced so far, right? So what is Marvel's best that can go up against JL, and does it compare? It doesn't have to be your personal.
Yeah. Well, my personal the choices for Marvel that is in the conversation. I'll pick three. Endgame, of course.
Did you like Endgame?
Logan. I enjoyed Endgame, but I like the last part of Endgame more. That's my favorite part. But I like the whole movie of JL. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah.
And then the second Marvel movie that is, just right up there is Logan. Logan doesn't get enough. Just a masterful film, well written about a character. Again, I just like flawed characters, and he was down. It was a way of seeing the superheroes you never thought you would see. Flawed and injured and down on their luck, and just really cool to see. And then Infinity Wars.
Right?
Yeah,
Infinity War for me was the shit. That was the shit.
Yeah.
That's the first time we're seeing all of them together. Which is also why, for me, Endgame was like an echo of what Infinity War was. Infinity War was, we get Thanos, we get the Avengers like uniting for the first time, and Endgame, we get the same fucking beats, they just die. Anyway. That's neither here nor there with that.
Two honorable mentions are, of course, Black Panther, just marvelous from beginning to end. Even if you're not a fan, it's just, if you're paying attention, it's a good story.
Yeah.
And two is Iron Man 1. That just,
definitely.
Again, blew the windows off the freaking car. That's like seeing the dinosaurs for the first time in Jurassic Park. That's like seeing the Matrix. Iron Man 1 set the standard for Marvel, and that also get enough credit, diba?
No. It does. For me, I would hold Iron Man 1 as high as Batman Begins. Right? It was.
Wow.
Isn't it though? Isn't it? Iron Man 1, just one versus
Iron Man.
Batman Begins. I think that's a good comparison. Both, and those came back to back in the same year. That was a good fucking 2008. Yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
Or maybe
No. Batman Begins came out in 2006.
2006. Yeah. That's
2006.
Right. Sorry, Dark Knight and Iron Man 1. Is that the right order of things?
2008, 2009, 2008. 2008.
I'm sure Iron Man is 2008, but the Dark Knight is 2008. So they came out the same year. Okay. But I would put equal to Batman Begins, I'd say. But with a 4-hour cut, man, for him to have sustained our fucking attention for 4 hours, it's hard to stop. I couldn't stop what's there, even though he cuts, right? He cuts and says part 1 and then part 2. Like, I kind of want to watch a little bit more before I stop, and before I know it, it's fucking it's fucking morning already, and I'm still watching.
So good.
Yeah.
So
how
good.
About the? All right, go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there were so many different story arcs, and I found it funny that, or ironic, or whatever the word is. y- the one that I thought was the most boring was the Superman arc, right?
Thank you.
The build up of Lois Lane again. I'm admittedly not a fan of Amy Adams. I
Same
wish they
here.
would
Same here. Yeah.
but the only recap fine. Well, anyway, and then yeah, just the build up. But the acting was great though. You know, with Diane Lane and when they met finally and we saw her son, that was very touching. Great acting. I just wasn't in love. I kind of that's when those were the moments when I kind of tuned out.
Same here.
I kind of rested.
Yeah.
Checked my phone.
Yeah.
Still
Tea
alive.
break.
And yeah, but then the other half of that Superman arc was also the most exciting. You know, when you get him, when they're trying to create enough power to bring him back to life in the boat, in the ship, and then you know, him turning into Black Superman, and then just the fight scene, and yeah. So you went from the most boring scenes to the most exciting.
That's
the
true.
Superman arc. Yeah.
Here's my contention with the fucking Diane Lane. Bro, let's face it, Diane Lane's one of, you know how we always kid about Olivia Munn being our favorite to fill in all those geeky roles or whatever. Diane Lane at her peak was fucking beautiful. Remember Unfaithful? That's not even her peak, but that's one of her, you know, dirtier movies. Remember?
You know what? I still watch that. I still watch that.
Remember that scene in Justice League where he goes out of her and Lois talk, remember? And then she steps out and she's by the staircase. You know what I remembered? If you watch Unfaithful Ali, remember that her staircase scene? Do you remember this movie?
It was one of the hottest scenes I've ever seen in my life.
She gets doggied in the fucking staircase.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking.
Good. 15-year-old girl in the other room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. So, did she like a sexier, sluttier Sharon Stone?
She's the more decent Sharon Stone.
Stone
already.
Yeah.
You're not a Diane Lane fan, bro? Look that up. Look up Unfaithful.
Diane Lane movies, yes, and I appreciate her her acting chops, but no, I'm not driven to her movies in particular. At the same time as Sharon Stone, were they the same?
More or less. Make her up to be younger. She'd be a perfect fucking Lois Lane, bro. Amy Adams could play Martha for all I fucking care, but Diane Lane is like a goddess to me. I'd put her up there with like Annette Bening and shit. That's
wow.
If we're talking about the classic.
If she was young and in the MCU or in DC playing a different character, if she was young, like let's say if she was in her 20s or let's say even her early 30s, you got to put her up there with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree. She's not as hot though, because ScarJo's like her body's like hot. You know what I mean? Diane Lane was just like
they both have deep voices, which I love.
Yeah.
How about Mara though? Amber Heard as Mara. I like that. I enjoyed her.
Who's that?
Amber Heard. Mara.
From
Atlantis.
You talking about Atlantis? Okay, yeah.
Right. Her scenes work too.
I only knew her as Johnny Depp's ex-wife.
I know. Sans that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Have you heard that? I listened to one of her tapes. God damn, Hot and Crazy are just. They're really a thing. She was. I'm like, damn. You're hot, but you are that crazy.
Yeah. Throughout the movies, I'm looking at her. I'm like, is that worth a divorce?
Yes.
And she sabotages your career. You're no longer the pirate. For a fucking movie that is basically the one that brings bacon.
Maybe 2 weeks.
A pirate movie.
He lost the Pirates fucking movie because of her.
He lost all of it.
What a
she also
bitch.
They don't want to work with her either, right? She's no longer going to be Mira either, right?
That's a word around the block. But even though, okay, given that we're on Johnny's side, I am on Johnny Depp's side because we know how crazy she is, right? I can separate the art from the artist. You know what I mean? I can do that.
Oh yeah. Well,
They should. They should.
I still listen to Michael Jackson and R. Kelly.
Right?
You know.
You can do that with Bill Cosby.
Oh.
No.
Wait, you can do it with Mike, but you can't do it for Bill Cosby. Why is that, Rovi? So you're okay with kid raper versus drugger raper?
I don't think of it that way. Think of it that way.
So then you can watch Bill Cosby too if you can watch Michael. MJ.
Only I don't know. Only because I say with Bill Cosby, he was the complete opposite character of what he played on, Dr. Huxtable. He was the Jello guy. He was such a fake, a fraud. So now that I know that 100%, I'll think about it. But with Michael Jackson, I mean,
you've always known suck kids' dicks.
He's the singer. I mean, I don't know. That's how I'm viewing it. And I don't automatically think that, and yeah. Although I did watch the R. Kelly documentary over a weekend. Yeah.
That was hard. That was hard.
What a horrible man.
Subliminals, the name of his songs, the name of his albums, even way back, Robbie, back in the 90s. My mind's telling me yes.
No.
My mind's telling me, my body keeps telling me yes.
My body.
I mean, the Pied Piper. I mean, no. He calls himself the Pied Piper.
That's right.
Okay. And then he's saying, he's the chocolate
factory.
The chocolate factory.
Oh.
Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory.
Yeah.
No, really.
No, you're right.
Think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this. The arrogance, and that's the whole thing that you got to look at. The arrogance of these people. Even as far as gone as Michael Jackson, especially Bill Cosby. The idea in their heads, in their minds, that I am who I am. Bill Cosby had $400 million he was worth $400 million. No telling how much Michael Jackson was worth. You're talking about some of the richest people on the planet, and for many of them, they would think that.
Here's my
even with R. Kelly.
No. See, I have to apologize in advance for what I'm gonna say. Okay. When it comes to R. Kelly, bro, those girls knew, man. You know a bad guy from a bad guy. You know.
No. Wait a minute. No. Time out.
Choose to roll with
Wait a minute. I gotta slow you down. Wait. I gotta slow you down right there, because he's a pedophile. He's taking advantage of women that are underage, and he's been doing it for a very, very long time. For a very long time.
And sorry, bro. He's using his fame and celebrityism to entrap these fans. They're just fans. They want to see and just be around him, and maybe if they're lucky, get sing for him, sing for them, maybe have a drink with them. But that's it, Some
sex, following your trail of thought. Wasn't Michael Jackson the same? Sorry. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, but wasn't Michael Jackson? Isn't Never Land full of rides? Not me sucking your dick on a fucking roller coaster.
No. You're right, Rael, because when you look at it that way, there's a lot of red flags. I would not allow my son or daughter to go to his, especially if I've already found out that he asked them to sleep in the same bed as his. And he gives them wine, which he calls loves you, or whatever the hell he calls it. The parents in some of the documentaries would say that they were also invited over. And Michael would have the kid. Imagine, would you allow your 5-year-old kid, or your 7-year-old kid, or your 12-year-old kid for that matter, go inside a room of a major celebrity who's also, I mean, he is who he is, but he's also a little bit strange, don't you think?
Yeah.
Would you allow him to close the door? Would you allow him to close the door and lock it and this was an actual account of one of the parents. You know, you kind of wondered, it was in the back of your mind every once in a while, is my son really safe? I would go up there, knock on the door, and no one would answer. I'd put my ear to the door and hear that there's nothing going on. If you have to do that, if you know, we all have a sixth sense. We just have to learn how to use it. If you're already thinking those types of things, all right, because you're concerned for your child, then those are already red flags, because he is not supposed to make you as a parent feel that way.
The same way.
Let alone,
I'm not saying Michael's innocent. What I'm saying is, is Michael more forgivable than R. Kelly? But the answer is no.
None of them are forgivable. Obviously, certain things happen to this man, and they happen for a reason.
Yeah, but do we say goodbye to fucking Bad? Do we say goodbye to fucking Billie Jean? Do we say goodbye to...
I can separate. No, I mean,
fly. You know what
separate,
I mean?
Right? I can separate.
So
I can
that's
separate.
my point. So we have to be able to separate that kind of shit. But at the same time, because it's, again, just playing the devil's advocate, these are not my core moral values. But sometimes it takes something that wild for artists to be able to produce the awesome art that they fucking do. I know that's bad to hear, but that is the truth. You know what I mean?
That is true, but it's no excuse.
It's no excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse.
Oh, we don't want to ask you what all those half-naked torsos in your desk are all about.
Don't judge me.
Flag, right? Ali, we see Bile's red flags.
It did cross my mind a couple times.
This guy's a serial killer.
From a standpoint of like, are there dead bodies like underneath the fucking house, man? You know what I mean? Like studying the muscle striations and all that.
The details are too good, bro.
Next thing you know, you can't find my ass. I disappeared. Right?
Wait.
Yeah, we can't. You're missing, but then all of a sudden, Bile makes like 17 cyborg commission models. She looks Ali
with actual skin
and kung fu grip.
Is it fair to say we're gonna give the? I'm gonna bring it back. Is it fair to rate from a rating of 1 to 10? Is it fair to give the Snyder Cut a perfect 10?
Yeah.
Ali, mabilis.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Rovi, would you give it a 10?
I'd give it a 10. I'd give it a 10.
I'd give it a 10.5. Just because of Amy
I'm
Adams.
still talking. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Hey, let's do a recast. Starting with Cyborg.
Did you see her? Did you see her in what was that movie with
Which one?
She's
She's not Isla Fisher, huh? Because Isla
back
Fisher
in the 70s. It was set back in the 70s with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper. What's the name of that movie?
I know what you're talking about. The big.
Something about
I know
remember the bathrooms?
Nah, that didn't do it for me. Yes, I remember. Honestly, I was thinking, you're trying to be sexy. You're not sexy, girl. You know what I mean? There's people who got like ScarJo's got sex appeal.
I think she's a good actress, but I also think
she
she's a
has
very
no
good
sex
woman.
appeal. You know what I mean? What's that? American Hustle. There you go.
American Hustle.
Yeah.
Plus, I like my Lois Lane's brunette. You know.
Yes.
Call me crazy. I like Lois Lane's brunette. Sorry.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I hear you.
You're not gonna cast a redhead man. You know, just to be different. Right?
Yep. Well, they cast brunette Barry. Barry's always been blonde in the comics. If you're gonna be technical about it. So was Arthur. Arthur's always blonde in the comics too. But again, we get Jason Momoa.
Yeah, sorry. We're sticking with Jason.
We don't mind. I don't mind. I love Jason Momoa in it though.
Dude, I love the take of him as Aquaman where He's a rock and roll dude. He has no shirt. His tattoo, his skin in a way, and I just love the whole take on this. It's not campy, it's not cheesy. It's different. I love it. Edgy. He's edgy.
Whiskey drinking Aquaman.
Yeah.
Right. Badass. All right. Yeah. My man. You were saying.
I wish he did he should do haka, before he fights.
Did you know that when he was auditioning for Game of Thrones, that was what he did? He did the haka when he was.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He's a big guy. He's sick. Well, first of all, he's half Samoan, and those the Samoan people genetically they're huge. I mean, you think about guys like The Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's he's 6'5". I don't know how much he weighs, but he's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Dang. Half only? What's the other half?
No, I think he's half white, half Samoan.
Samoan. Damn.
Yeah. Speaking of which, speaking of Amber Heard,
The Rock is supposedly.
What?
Oh, go ahead. Speaking
no,
of
I was
Amber,
gonna say that. Remember,
go ahead.
Emilia Clarke, Daenerys. They're saying that she's gonna replace Amber Heard. That would be like a Drogo and Khaleesi reunion right there. If it pushes, that's been.
I'm down for it.
I'm down for it, but I'm okay with Amber Heard though. But I love Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke is just.
I like her red hair in Aquaman. I like that. I've always wondered what my kids would look like if I procreated with a fish. Probably would look like Jason Momoa. Maybe the hair would be different. But I would suppose it depends on what kind of Atlantean we're talking about. An Atlantean of African descent, an Atlantean of Filipina descent. I mean, I don't know. Everything's so diverse now. Everything's so diverse. We have to be politically correct about it.
I know. I don't get me started.
There must be.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, though, because, we're going through something right here in the Bay, brother, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. You keeping tabs on it. And, Pael, we talked about it, but got to bring it up, man. Anti-Asian.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anti-Asian hate, or Asian hate. And it's just so sickening right now.
Wait,
so sickening. I hate it. I really hate it.
Pause. Is it how, in an intensity level of 1 to 10, what is it? And do you have personal experience with it? Have you been? Because, for example, my brother, before COVID hit, he was in Italy. He said people were going like this, bro. Around them. Once they see them, they'd look at them and go, "Oh yeah." It was that fucking out there, bro. Have you experienced something similar? Or you don't?
Well, racism's always been there. It's the thin veil of racism has been, always floating around since I've been in America, living here, and it's just unfortunately I think the past administration brought it out more where you call people out on it, or you can really say your true feelings without without disregard for decency. If you nice to say, don't say anything at all. If we're all racist in our own way. We all have different levels of racism. Just don't fucking act out on it, And unfortunately, it's now been okay to act out on it, and it's even heightened when of course, everyone hates the pandemic, and the last administration kept saying it's from Wuhan, and it's the flu,
virus.
The China virus. Yeah, so that could be one of the places where if you can pinpoint all this Asian hate, that it could have started from that. And it's just a shitty time. So you're asking me, do you see it more? And has it affected me? Personally, I haven't been affected. I haven't been affected by it personally, but I'm on the news every day and social media, and I follow these, Asian empowerment and um, personalities, and it happens every day. There's always something going on. Every day there's something. Somebody's getting beat up, somebody's getting robbed, somebody's raped, and it's violent. It's really violent. It's not just robbery. It's fucking pounding. It's rage. It's hatred. Broken bone, eye, murder, and it's happening a lot in the Bay Area. I know it's happening in New York and yeah, and sporadically all over like Texas and Oregon and wherever. So it's sad, man. It's really, really sad. I wish, and not to open up another Pandora's box, but
go.
We backed up BLM.
There
Asians backed up BLM when they were. Hey, we need the more voices out here marching. We marched right alongside with them. We felt their anger and rage because we could have been next as well. And unfortunately, now that Asian Americans are out there calling for help, BLM doesn't have our back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad, Ali, that you're here because you straddle both sides, brother. You're
I was going there next.
Both sides of the coin. So what's your whole take?
My whole take on it is, I think that, I believe I agree with you. There's always been underlying a very thin blanket of racism, and just going back to the people who established the country. When the Constitution, when these articles, whatever you want to call them, these documents were written, you got to ask yourself, did they include people like you and me, our ancestors? And the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of white men that decided that they want to live the way they want to live. They separated from their European countries and they created their own laws, and those laws benefit them still to this day.
Yep.
Still to this day. So, yes, we're a nation of immigrants. That's true. But, we're all Americans, but there's people out there, unfortunately, not just white people, but also, just people across the spectrum. It's not just white people attacking Asian people. You got black people attacking Asian people. You got Hispanics attacking. And this reminds me a lot of during jihad. It reminds me a lot of Al Qaeda. Even last year, about this time last year, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Actually, the Black Lives Matter movement really disturbed me.
That was just last year.
That was last year. And to me, I don't know if I'm 100% in favor for Black Lives Matter because I don't know what their motives truly are. And I'm not 100% sold on it. And I think for all of us, Rovi, I'm on both sides of the spectrum. I think at the end of the day, it's just all of us just have to do the right thing and be good people and quit relying on these figureheads, these people that are the heads of these fucking organizations. But who are they really? We don't really know who are they working for. I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theories, but at the end of the day, you don't know. We saw a lot of weird things going on last year. Yes, the George Floyd thing, okay? And you notice that this is another thing that I think we all have to pay attention to. You notice how these shootings of black men last year and even the years previously before that, it just seemed to keep happening every single day. There's like, you open up your laptop, you open up your phone, another incident. And the same thing is happening this time with Asian Americans. This was like, what's going to happen next March? What's going to happen next March? Who are we going to start attacking now? To me, yes, I'm an American and I'm proud to be an American. Well, actually, I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie to anybody. I don't, like, Rovi, I hope you don't take offense to this, but I don't know if I am proud to be an American because lately I don't know what it really means to be an American. Like it's part of the reason why I don't want to go back just to visit. because I'm worried that my kids are going to forget about me, but my girl and my kids, if they experience anything, I don't want them to experience anything like that. And I come from a predominantly white neighborhood, and this is where it gets gets weird. It gets disturbing. Is I grew up with a lot of these. I grew up with a lot of white kids, a lot of white friends who I call my brothers. But when it came down to politics, they completely. It's okay to disagree with me in your politics. That's fine. But there was also a lot of underlying racial undertones in some of what they're posting. You know, even poking fun. You know, and okay, yes, and so the Black Lives Matter movement, where is it? Right, where is it? It's just sort of disappeared.
That was just like, but hasn't
now it's like it's all about trying to support Asians, which I think is great. We should, but Rovi, you're right. Like we've seen sports celebrities, black sports celebrities, support against racial hate, against Asian hate, right? We've seen that. We've seen their posts and stuff like that. But it's not as intense as what happened last year. Now, my fear is this. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But my fear is this. Will this be ignored? Will this continue to be a problem until things spill over the way things did this time last year with the whole George Floyd, Ahmed Arbery thing in Georgia? Where are we going to see Asian people just going for a jog and get run down by some bullshit vigilantes and get shot?
That's happening now, bro.
It's happening now. And so what's being done about it? You know, okay, yes, Joe Biden to me is a breath of fresh air from Trump and what Trump represented. That's just how I feel. But I'm looking at Biden, I'm looking at Kamala Harris, and I'm like, it looks good, but I'm also going to hold you guys accountable because you have a large responsibility for the American people. You have a large responsibility for the world. People are watching you right now. It sounds great. Kamala Harris, first African American to be the vice president, first woman to be a vice president. But let's not get distracted by all of that. You know, let's see what they actually do. And my fear is I don't want this thing to get it's out of control now. I don't want it to get so out of control that we have another race war. You know, all of a sudden you start to see you start to see the police officers, certain police officers in certain jurisdictions and certain counties reacting the way that they would react when it came to a BLM protest or whatever the hell. I mean, you know, how far is it going to go?
Here's my question.
How far is it going to go, and what's the extent of it? You know, like, I mean, it's.
Didn't George Floyd end it though? Didn't that end everything? End the hate?
No. I don't like you know. It's to the point. Like, you know, I have friends that'll be like, all of this stuff. What's really going on behind closed doors? You know, like it's to that point because. There was a lot of weird things that happened last year. You have people protesting out there in the streets. Then you have peaceful demonstrators. I guess the true essence, I think, of Black Lives Matter. And then you have people infiltrating them, pretending to be part of the cause, and then vandalizing, making the whole Black Lives Matter movement look bad. They're also attacking people. They're pretending to be part of it when they have other intentions, right? Bricks were set up in streets where people were going to protest. like, what's all that? I mean, there was a lot of weird things going on with that.
Were you
And
there
I
already,
just-
Rovi? Rob,
What's
were
that?
were you there during this time? Last year?
I think you were here.
This is still in the Philippines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But if you haven't
Yeah.
You
personally,
know, Robbie, I don't know. I don't know what Black Lives Matter is. You know, and I tell you what, I'm not 100% sold on Black Lives Matter. I'm not.
I'm so glad you brought it up. I'm so glad you said that because I was 100% sold on BLM only because I put myself in a situation where if I got pulled over, me being a light-skinned Asian, even though I'm Asian, I have nothing to worry about if I get pulled over by myself and there's white cops, you know? So I put myself in a situation, if I was a black guy got pulled over, same situation, would I be scared? Hell yeah, I'd be scared, even if I had my hands on the wheel and was, you know, respectful. If I just made sudden movement, you know, it shouldn't be like that. The cops are there to protect you. You shouldn't feel scared. So I put myself in that situation. So I believed in BLM. But now, bro, now that I see you know, again, I don't know if there's a conspiracy theory going on where whoever's controlling the media is only putting out,
there you go.
you know, minorities and black
That's
people.
right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like,
So
like
is it
you know,
media
like
sensationalism? Is what I've been meaning to ask.
Well,
Is it media?
what's really
sensationalism?
going on here? What's really going on? Are they doing this to just to separate us? Are they doing this? Because when I talk to people in the States, I'm like, what's it like? No, man, things are cool. You know, I have a friend who's a basketball coach. He trains. He trained in China. He trained players in China. Now he's black. He's blacker than the black screen on this laptop here. All right. And he's in Boise, dude. He's in Boise, Idaho.
Wow.
I used to go out there and play when I was part of college basketball. The only black people I'd ever seen in Boise were the ones that are on the Boise State basketball team, the Boise State University basketball team.
Yeah.
I didn't see one person of color out there. And not to mention, that's one of the states where the Klan resides. A lot of these Klan members live up north. They live in the northern states. They live up there, the Dakotas, South Dakotas, the Idahos, the Montanas. That's where they all reside now. It's not too much down in the south. But I asked him, what's it like out there? And he's like, and this was about this time last year. I said, people looking at you weird. He goes, I get looks every once in a while, but then, you know, I say hello to them and then, you know, hi, how you doing? You know, like, he said, there's no problems. And then we both agreed, like, do you think it's more of the media just kind of steering things up, focusing on the negatives too much? He said, yeah. Because there's a lot of positive things that are happening between races, you know? But going back to what you're saying, man, it's like,
No.
Asian people, black people, Hispanics, we've been Native Americans. Let's not forget about the Native Americans. If you want to go back into history, you know, we have been abused, murdered, raped, discriminated, degraded, not even second-class citizens, slaves, ever since the start of this nation, this great nation.
Yep.
And the one thing that frustrates me the most here is I have a lot of great friends who are white, but they don't get it. A lot of them, they don't understand because they've never gone through it. They think it's in our mind. Well, if you stop resisting, or if you don't act so nervous and scared, then the police officer's not going to. Well, first of all, you don't know what we go through. You know, I've been messed with the cops, man.
Yeah.
You know it. And the last time I got pulled over was in 2017 or 2015.
That's still pretty
I pulled
recent.
over in California, and I remember scared, man. I was nervous. I was scared. Why? Because I knew that my license was not in my pocket. My license was in my backpack on the passenger side. When he pulled me over, police officers they come to the driver's side now, and he said, they come to. At this time, he came to the driver's side. I guess now they go to the passenger side. But he came to the driver's side, and he said license and registration. I said, and he was a white cop, and I said, sir, I had my hands here. I said, sir, I'm just to let you know, my license is in my backpack right there. Can I go get it? You know, I had to do that. Like if I were to,
Why?
if he asked me that question, because he might think that I'm trying to go for a gun or something.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
Much more. It was a white guy that had a backpack, and if the white guy just went over to get it, he wouldn't be as alarmed.
It wouldn't be as jumpy.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Look at the footage. There's footage on YouTube,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where a black man was pulled over. He was asked to go get his license and registration. He goes and reaches for something. The guy draws his gun and starts firing at him. That happens a lot.
Yeah. So here's my question then: if you rovi,
Yeah.
and this is in line with media sensationalism, right? If you rovi haven't personally experienced racial hate, right? Don't you think it's just media sensationalism? Is it really around?
I think no.
That's my
Kyle,
question.
but the thing is, Rovi has in his life as an American. I'm sure you have, right, Rovi? You have in your life.
I've nothing blatantly, but you know, there's just been some low-key racist moments.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure my color mattered, but yeah, nothing. Thankfully, nothing blatant. Like no one's ever yelled "chink" or whatever. Actually, you know who hates more on Asians are other Asians. So it's actually my Vietnamese who call me whatever, and I call them gook back, and I mean it's all out of love, but there's just other form of racism where we just shit each other.
No, but my question is, you don't have that fear, like when a cop pulls you over. Like now that Asian hates,
No.
you don't have to ask him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's maybe that's
It's
my
not like
theory.
that.
That's what I think. Now it's media sensationalism that's intentionally done to separate us or to give us something to be preoccupied with during this fucking pandemic world.
I agree with you because here's the thing: when you're not focusing on the positives. Okay, you focus on the positives, but at the same time address these issues because they are issues, right? And when you're constantly saying another shooting incident, another this, another that, another that, another that, another that, it's not just because there are more good cops out there than there are bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have friends who are police officers at their LAPD. Okay, so what happens now? It's a chain reaction. So you have black people worried, scared. They're already jumpy. They're already like, and some brothers are just like, oh man, fuck, here we go. The attitude comes, right? And then you have the police officer who's watching the same media.
Exactly.
Who's jumping as well. He knows that he just pulled over a group of black folks. He's just pulled over a black man, a black woman. Already in the back of his mind, he's nervous because let's say the police officer does have good intentions, right? This is a well-trained police officer, has good intentions. He or she is going up to the car, to the vehicle, just to ask simple questions, right? But he or she is already nervous because in the back of his mind, I hope that this person doesn't think I'm pulling him over because of the color of his skin. But yet you have a black man in the car saying, shit, he's fucking with me because I'm black, right? And where's this all come from? This comes from what we see constantly, whether it's on our gadgets. Now, that's not 100% of the time, because when you look at the history of police officers that have abused their power with not just black people, but people of color, period, in the United States of America, there's a long timeline, man, a long timeline that dates way back, to where it's just straight murder. All right, so.
Yeah.
Ali, would it be subtle form of racism if they cast the next cyborg as a white dude?
I love this question.
Would you be pissed?
I love this question.
Man. I know. I'm like,
this question so
I'd be like, man. At first, I'd be like,
what?
You know what? Honestly, I think if I went to go see the movie with a bunch of black, well, first of all, we're gonna go see the movie anyways, whether we're black or not, right? But we go see the movie, right? And he's, it's a white dude. Okay, I don't think maybe let's say 10 black people, including myself, maybe one or maybe two of those black people that go see the movie are going to be pissed off because Cyborg's not black, and they're going to say it's racism. The other 8 are going to be like, I thought he did a pretty good job. I what the fuck you guys, what are you talking about? Like, why, how is it racist? He didn't want to do the damn movie anymore. Why are you getting mad at him for? And I also, it's like, this is what Morgan Freeman said. And I'm sure you've seen it on Facebook where he was being interviewed. He was asked about Black History Month, and he said ridiculous. And the interviewer said, "Why?" Well, I mean, he goes, "Well, is there a White History Month?" And he's like, "Well, no. Why? Why isn't there a White History Month? Why? Yes, it's important that we know our history." And again, that's another issue. That's another rabbit hole because history is not taught properly. It's not.
Yeah, but
it's not taught properly.
Human history. You know what I mean? Human history. Why do we have to segregate? Huh? Why do we have to segregate Black history? What?
I think
Women's Month. You know what I mean? You're more special this month.
That's what Morgan Freeman was trying to say.
Yeah,
he was saying,
I know, I saw it.
Stop talking about it so much. Stop focusing on it so much. We're Americans. Let's just stop. And I honestly believe, and just trying to be fair about this whole situation, I honestly believe there's a lot of white people that just don't see color. And they're going to treat you the way they want to treat you, right? Larry Bird is one of those people. He does not see. Larry Bird grew up in Indiana. That's where the Klan was born. That's where the Ku Klux Klan was originated. And he could very well have easily fallen into that whole trap of not wanting to associate himself with Black people. But his thing was, I used to work at a hotel. I was about, I was younger than a lot of the people that worked there, the waiters and waitresses, the custodians. They were all Black, and they were good basketball players. And in their off time, they'd let me play. They didn't have to let me play because I was white, but they let me play. I mean, he could have easily fallen into that. So I mean, there's so many different types of people, and I think what happens is the media segregates. And the media just focuses on one group of people, man. They focus on one group of people.
Yeah. Wait, let me reel it back into
the I'm curious, Robbie, what I'm curious to know is were there any people of color that stormed the Capitol? That's what I mean, that's something that's crossed my mind. Like, maybe there wasn't, but what if there was? What if there were Black people pissed off alongside people who carried the Confederate flag? If there was, what kind of message is that? What kind of message is that? Whether they're right or wrong for storming the Capitol that way, right? Would that be considered unity? Maybe for the wrong cause, or maybe for the right cause. I don't know. There's just so many different categories here, and that's where it just gets confusing. That's why that's one of the biggest reasons why. To me, Black Lives Matter is not as clear cut as it is, as it makes itself to be.
Yeah. There are a lot of African Americans who support Trump. 100%.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
There's a.
You ask them about the Confederate flag, it's like, they don't seem to be bothered by it.
Yeah. It's
no. Go. No, I was gonna say, when it comes to casting and all this racial undertones with comic books or stories that you want to tell, I'll keep it simple. Stick to canon. You know what I mean? If Cyborg's always been Black, keep him Black. If Superman's always been white, keep him white. Magneto's white. Professor X is white. Jean Grey's a redhead. Can we keep Jean Grey a redhead? I simplify like that. But
yeah,
if it happens, okay, fine. Let's see if it's for me. Then I'll go into are you getting the character down right? Are you acting it right? Does it make sense? Anyway, that's where my shit's at.
Go.
Like
the way, like how Spider-Man they give different renditions of Spider-Man now. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, of
Miles-
course, you started Parker, a white guy. You could then leapfrog all the movies in between, and the latest, of course, is Spider-Verse, where he's a Puerto Rican, right? And
Miles
that,
Morales,
Half
yeah.
black.
yeah,
Miles
that version of
Morales.
Spider is dope. You know, like it's so cool to see a minority superhero and a minority Spider-Man, which is one of the more iconic
Filipino
characters.
superhero.
Pretty cool.
Filipino
Well, there is
superhero.
though. There is a Filipino Avenger. Remember, we looked that up last year.
Let's not bring up the casting again, but
No.
Rovi, I want to ask you this. I'm not bringing that up. I'm asking you this. You used to be in publishing. As someone who's ready, by the way, the comic is out on Amazon, bitches. It's called Tulisan Control. It's a product of this Tambay also. It's under the banner of Tambay Productions. I don't know if you've noticed. Or if you've read it. If you've read it, bitches.
Gotta read it. My bad. I gotta read it.
Anyway. Well, you guys will be in it. But here's my question. As someone who's worked in publishing before, Rob, how do we get something, the eyes of like the publishers on something like this? Good question, right?
You send it to them. Straight up.
So
you just send it to them.
Who do I send this to now that we have a finished product? Who would you recommend?
Well, I've been out of the game, so I don't know who to send it to. But I mean, can it be sent to a magazine or it needs to be sent to a magazine that has a section for creative writing? And I only remember Esquire, Men's Esquire. Every issue they'd have a section because they love creative writing and they love promoting and encouraging independent writers. And yeah, they would be your best bet. I don't remember.
So
magazine,
or do we have like remember we submit to a magazine to promote it? Is that what's gonna happen? Supposed to be that they're gonna talk about it? Or
yeah, absolutely. Well, they'll put it in a section for creative writing, and yours, why not? You know, it's creative writing. I haven't seen a comic yet inside, but why not? You know, Esquire is so cutting edge like that. I think they'd be okay with it.
Okay.
If it matches their
we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've read, I don't know what other publishings out there promote and encourage creative writing in that way. They'll probably just give you a short write up about your book, not the actual page.
No, yeah, that's fine. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
So what you to do is just get it out there. Your actual pages, create a website or a homepage. Just put it out there and then get it out on the comic book message boards, Reddit, whatever. There's a lot of pro-Philippine pop culture type categories out there.
Yeah, I've added it to groups like Cyberpunk because it's a Filipino cyberpunk book. So I'm a member of those, so I'm looking at those as a channel.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
and if there's a way to tally views, like if you can add up, and then so that way you can show it if they do ask, hey, how many views have you gotten so far digitally? There's a way to a counter, I guess.
Yep.
This has 100,000 views so far. Whatever.
Yep. Yep, that's one of the things Wincy. I was supposed to introduce you guys to him, but he's also busy doing his director thing. And one of the things we were targeting is how to get those numbers up, because eventually. But the next question is, how do you get eyes on it? You know what I mean? Ali, sorry, are we boring you with this? You're in the comic.
No, I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious to know. How would you get eyes on it? How would you get more eyes on it?
Yeah. That's one of the things we were talking about the other day. That I thought that hey, I'll bring this up in the podcast. Let's see how we dissect it. Anyway, so if I can't get you fuckers to buy it, how do I get them to buy it?
No, I want to.
I even sent like a free copy to Ali. He hasn't even read it for shit. So how do I wake people up?
Nah,
to
man,
the movement.
Dude, I got
to the movement.
I got. Look, man.
I'm kidding, bro.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna admit it. Fuck it. I'm waiting for the 4-hour movie.
Yeah, well,
I don't
anyway,
know what
Tulisan Control's on Amazon. You guys check that out. I like that.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for Amazon to buy the rights and wait to see Ali on TV. So
You too, bitch.
I
You guys will be playing. I showed you the art. You guys will be on issue 2. But that's another podcast all in its own, man. Anyway, any last thoughts before we close this up? We've been going on for like fucking a while.
Yeah.
Last thoughts.
Go ahead, Rovi. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh man, I'm just so grateful to just see you guys happy and healthy, and
Touche,
all your
touche.
families happy and healthy, and you guys are busy, and I always say busy is a blessing. So thank you for getting us together with this, and I'm so glad we, despite all our differences, we have a common bond for anything that's R. Kelly. Just kidding. No, anything that's comic book and pop culture. So I love it, and I can't wait to we get together and talk about the next one.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on, bro. I know it's a different time
Thanks,
zone,
bro.
but we crossing these streams with the fucking tech. Ali, last thoughts.
Well,
before we go.
same thing. It's great. I know I've been gone for a while, but it's always great, man. It's always great to reconnect. Connect and reconnect with you guys. Rovi, man. I haven't seen you.
Year.
But the last time we did something like this was last year.
Yeah, I was still in.
Yeah, you still here? Yeah. Willie was with us. But yeah, man. Yeah, of course, Bael, man. I'm always going to support you, dude.
Thanks, brother.
I'll read the
Me too.
book,
Touche.
man.
I always.
But Snyder's cut. It's just rather unfortunate that we're not going to see more from.
Never
Zack
say
Snyder.
never. Never say never.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
listening.
that article that came out wasn't too promising.
Yeah, I read that too. I don't believe her. I don't believe her though.
Of DC, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I guess.
restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Let not the times keep us separate, man. It's good shit like this that should keep us united, man. Let's unite.
Yeah.
Everything. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Pael Fajardo, and this has been Tambay, guys. Adios.
Out.
Wait. Let me stop it. Adios.
Adios.